Hello Aries, and welcome to your lunar cycle insight video for the lunar cycle beginning with the Aquarius new moon on the 4th of February. So we move into what is one of the more smoother months of the year after the intensity of January's eclipse season, which created a lot of change, a lot of upheaval. And now we get to start to put our new visions into motion with the sun and the moon joining together in Aquarius. And this will be happening for you, Aries, in your 11th house, which is the house of big visions, dreams, and higher purpose. So the 11th house is where our individual purpose intertwines with the evolution of humanity as a whole. So it's time for us to think about how the work we're doing, all of those planets currently in our 10th house, Saturn, Pluto, the South Node, Venus moving in there on the 3rd of January too. So how is all this work we're doing actually serving the evolution of consciousness? How is it serving the upliftment of humanity as a whole? And in general, this is a really beautiful new moon for us. It's also lunar in bulk, so it's a time of new seeding, a time of new beginnings, regeneration and rebirth. So this moon, which is sextile Jupiter in your 9th house, which is also connected with higher wisdom and big vision, asks you to set the intentions for the future manifestation of your dreams. The 11th house and the sign of Aquarius in general is also very much connected with the etheric web of life and the networks and circles that we weave ourselves into. Always the cat joins in. You want to be part of the video. As long as you don't knock it over. So it's part of the web that we weave around ourselves. So this is a time when we can feel new opportunities, new people coming to us that will support our visions and dreams and goals for the future as well. So this is a really great month for coming together, for co-collaborating with others, and for setting things in motion, because of course we're moving with these all planets direct up until the next new moon, which will be in Pisces, and it will be on the day that Mercury stations retrograde too. So it's an exciting time. Sorry, just had to remove the kitten then. I don't think he's gonna settle down while I talk. He wants to be the star of the show. So this Aquarius new moon is a beautiful beginning to the lunar cycle. And this is a time when we can really have far-reaching sight, when things can become very clear, crystal clear about where we want to head for the future, you know, where we want to head for the next 12 months of the year. Really, astrologically speaking, these months of February and coming up into March until we reach the Aries new moon are still time for us to really refine our vision, to really refine our desires, and particularly true with Mars and Pluto being square at the time of this new moon as well. So we have Mercury in Aquarius at the time of this moon, but he will be sliding into Pisces on the 10th of February. And as I mentioned, this is where he's going to do his first retrograde sojourn of the year. All of the Mercury retrogrades this year are in water signs, so they're all going to be taking us deep into our emotions. And Mercury in Pisces for Aries will be in the 12th house of memories, of the subconscious, of cleansing. So we may find at this time our thinking becomes a little bit more transcendental, a little bit more poetic, and a little bit more foggy in some areas, because it can be quite hard to see clearly with Mercury in Pisces, particularly in the 12th house, we might find a lot of old thought patterns and beliefs coming up through the subconscious to be looked at during this period too. But we will talk more about Mercury retrograde in next month's video. Our ruler Mars is also very, very active this month. He is still currently transiting our sign, which is another reason why a lot of Aries might feel like all systems go at the moment, even more impatient than we usually are, you know, feeling that drive, that inner fire to create, to push forward and really start to make our vision a reality. And he's going to come up and make a conjunction with Uranus for the final time in 84 years on the 13th of March. So this month Uranus is finishing up his stay in our sign. He's finishing up his stay in Aries, where he's been for the past 7 years, and Mars will come and ignite him just before he slides into Taurus on the 14th of February. So this is a time for us of really breaking free of old patterns, of old ways of being and doing things, breaking free of the constraints of conformity, you know, thinking about things anew, doing things that are fresh and exciting and outside of the box. On the flip side, Mars conjunct Uranus in our sign can really look at our natural Aryan tendencies towards impulsiveness, recklessness, not thinking things through, and also our fierce desire for autonomy. Uranus has been really excavating that over the past 7 years, so this is a time to really reflect on our ability to co-create with others, with the sun up in the 11th house too. So how can we be in our authentic self, but also co-create with others and really learn the art of compromise as well, Aries? So this can be a time of, as always when working with Uranus, shocks, revelations, upheavals, changes, and it can be a big energy day as well. You know, it can be one of these days where we feel quite overstimulated. The nervous system is electrified, our bodies, you know, we might feel restless or irritable. So that's one of the days to watch out for. But what's really lovely is the following day, on the 14th of February, what we might call Valentine's Day, Mars enters Taurus for the first time in 2 years. So this is a very different energy. Mars in Aries is a very fiery, somewhat erratic kind of vibration. Mars in Taurus is like the bull. Slow, steady movement towards our goals. So Mars will enter our second house at this point, and this is the house, of course, traditionally ruled over by Taurus, and this is the space of the birth chart that deals with our financial and energetic resources. So this can be a time when we can ground all of those new ideas, new inspirations that have been coming through since Mars entered our sign on the 1st of January. This is the time when we can really start to be productive, to put the work in, and we can really have the stamina and the tenacity to follow through on things. You know, Taurus will see things through to completion. Taurus is willing to extend the effort needed to achieve those big dreams, and we might feel more energized towards the experience of creating abundance for ourselves, towards the experience of generating more resources and prosperity. It can highlight all of the issues of the second house and make us think about how we are valuing our time and energy and money as well. So that's a 6-week long transit. Mars is going to be in Taurus So it's a good time again, you know, we're kind of gathering up the speed, gathering up the energy, ready to shoot forward when the sun comes into Aries at the spring equinox. So on the 18th, the sun will join Mercury in Pisces in our 12th house. So we have this energy going on that happens to every sign before their birthday month, where we are doing a lot of clearing, we're doing a lot of processing, we're doing some reflecting on the past year, what worked, what didn't work, how we can reflect in a way that we are still being gentle and compassionate with ourselves, thinking about not only the things that perhaps didn't work out, but also the things that did, you know, the goals and the ambitions that we did achieve, the love that we experienced. All of these beautiful, compassionate Pisces energies can help us to really think about that and to shed the layers of heaviness or weightiness that we might still be holding onto from the previous year. This is really amplified by the Virgo full moon, which will be in our 6th house of purification and cleansing, just the day after the sun moves into Pisces. So we're still in this cycle of full moons in the early degrees, the 0 degrees of the signs. So as soon as the sun changes signs, we're having a full moon at the moment, really amplifying that axis, which for us Aries is all about detoxification, purification, like I said, letting go, but also having compassion for ourselves and really looking at the areas of our lives where we might be self-sabotaging or holding ourselves back, where we are lacking structure and organization, where we might need to do a little bit of a decluttering or clearing so things can move a bit more smoothly. Again, we're in this clearing process, we're in this shedding process before our birthday month. So what's really special about this full moon is that around the same time, Chiron, the wounded healer, or the cosmic shaman, whichever way you prefer to look at him, is going to be finishing up his long stay in Pisces and coming into Aries, coming into our sign. And we had a little taster of this back between April and September in 2018. Chiron kind of dipped into Aries and then he's retrograded back out. So for the beginning of February, he's on the 29th degree of Pisces in our 12th house. So that's amplifying this energy of forgiveness, of surrender, of gentleness to ourselves as we wash away not only the past year, but in some ways the past 7 years. So we're having a deep emotional clear out, and Chiron can help us to process things that are not just from this lifetime but from other incarnations. So we have this period, particularly between the beginning and mid-February, of really going deep, looking at the root causes of any emotional patterns, any addictive patterns, any old shame or blame or guilt that we're carrying, and allowing it to rise up and be processed and let it go. Because Chiron will be entering our sign at the time of that Virgo full moon around the 18th and 19th of February. So this initiates a whole new cycle of healing for the collective, but particularly for us, because Chiron hasn't been in Aries for around 54 years. The last time he was in Aries was in the 60s when we had the love revolution happening. So we know that he is going to initiate a new wave of consciousness. Chiron is the key to the next stage of evolution. So all of us Aries are going to be getting a celestial upgrade from Chiron over the coming 7 years. And the closer your birthday is to the 21st of March, if you're within those first couple of days of Aries season, Chiron is going to come straight in and he is going to conjunct your sun, and you will be having a Chiron transit over the next couple of years. So these energies will feel even more personal to you. Same as me, my sun's at 4 degrees Aries, so straight away I'm going to be feeling the effects of Chiron. And he will call us collectively, personally, to reclaim all of the lost fragments of our power that we have given away, to really come into a space of being vulnerable enough to be our true, authentic self. He's going to initiate new drives, new ideas, new inspirations around how we can heal ourselves, how we can heal the world. He is, going to be encouraging us to face some of our deepest wounds, to face a lot of our unworthiness, unlovability, undeservingness, in order to transform it and really step into our unique individual expression of self. So we may feel a little bit like wounded warriors for a time, because quite often when a planet first changes signs is when we really feel the energy the strongest, and we get a bit of a foreshadowing of what might come. So around the time of this full moon, which is on that healing axis of Virgo Pisces, really pay attention to what is rising up in your consciousness for release, my fellow Aries. Really look at where you're giving your power away, where you are suppressing yourself, where you are dampening your fire, where you are blaming, where you are self-sabotaging. So it's an exciting time. Like I say, Chiron's going to be in Aries till about 2027. So we've got some really, really deep work to be doing with him, finding our own inner medicine man, inner medicine woman, becoming the shaman, becoming the creator of our own life, of our own destiny. And this is particularly poignant for us because we have a lot of energy up in the 10th house, up in the Capricorn space of our chart, that is calling us to transform how we're working in the world, how we are building our career and reputation. And Chiron in Aries says, our vulnerability is our superpower. Our ability to just be authentically ourselves is what will transform our purpose and heal our souls as well. So I am excited for this deep healing journey that we're going to be undertaking. And I'm going to close this reading with a card from the Sacred Rebels by Alana Fairchild. I use this card deck quite often. It's one of my favourites, so you've probably seen it before if you've been watching these videos. But whenever I hear the word rebel, I always think of Aquarius. So we're going to use these for the Aquarius new moon. So let's pick a card for us, Aries. Dream a beautiful dream. And we can see here that this card is the grid of light, the web of life that surrounds the earth, that surrounds Gaia. So this for me feels like a reflection of these Aquarius energies in our 11th house, asking you, what dreams are you weaving? What web are you weaving? What seeds are you planting at this time? How are you envisioning your life to be? If we think about where you want to be this time next year, what would you like to be seeing appear in your life? Now is the time to start working towards that. Now is the time to start envisioning. Now is the time to dream the big dreams, because these energies are so supportive of creating the future reality this month. And this is a time of you really thinking about taking action as well, Aries, which of course you're very, very good at. And you're being supported by your ruler, Mars, in Taurus, you know, anchoring, grounding, creating trines to those Capricorn planets. So think about how you can not only see with clarity what you wish for your future self, but also what steps need to be taken. And I feel like I've said this message in your previous video as well, as I'm thinking back. And that really is the theme for you this year, Aries. It's see the bigger picture, take action towards it. Don't let those 12th house Pisces fears and self-sabotaging behaviors hold you back. Look at what is beneath them. You know, if you have been offered an opportunity that you're not stepping up to, or if there is something that you want to put in motion but you just can't seem to make yourself do it, have a look at what fears are underlying that. Have a look at what is driving that tendency to sabotage your own joy. So thank you so much for listening to me, Aries. If you would like to connect with me further, you can check the links below this box for my writings and groups that I share on Facebook. Sending you so much love and in bulk blessings.